Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 5, Book 58, number 254. Narrated by Abu Burda bin Abi Musa al-Ash'ari. Abdullah bin Umar said to me, "Do you know what my father said to your father once?" I said, "No." He said, "My father said to your father, O Abu Musa, will it please you that we will be rewarded for our conversion to Islam with Allah's apostle and our migration with him, and our jihad with him and all our good deeds which we did with him, and that all the deeds we did after his death will be disregarded whether good or bad?" Your father, i.e. Abu Musa, said, "No, by Allah, we took part in jihad after Allah's apostle, prayed and did plenty of good deeds, and many people have embraced Islam at our hands, and no doubt, we expect rewards from Allah for these good deeds." On that my father, i.e. Umar, said, "As for myself, by him in whose hand Umar's soul is, I wish that the deeds done by us at the time of the Prophet remain rewardable, while whatsoever we did after the death of the Prophet be enough to save us from punishment, in that the good deeds compensate for the bad ones." On that I said to Ibn Umar, "By Allah, your father was better than my father." Volume 5, Book 58, number 255. Narrated by Abu Uthman. I heard that Ibn Umar used to become angry if someone mentioned that he had migrated before his father, Umar, and he used to say, "Umar and I came to Allah's apostle and found him having his midday rest, so we returned home. Then Umar sent me again to the Prophet and said, 'Go and see whether he is awake.' I went to him and entered his place and gave him the pledge of allegiance. Then I went back to Umar and informed him that the Prophet was awake. So we both went, running slowly, and when Umar entered his place, he gave him the pledge of allegiance, and thereafter I too gave him the pledge of allegiance." Volume 5, Book 58, number 256. Narrated by Al-Bara. Abu Bakr bought a camel's saddle from Azab, and I carried it for him. Azab, i.e. my father, asked Abu Bakr regarding the journey of the migration of Allah's apostle. Abu Bakr said, "Close observers were appointed by our enemies to watch us. So we went out at night and traveled throughout the night and the following day till it was noon. Then we perceived a rock and went towards it, and there was some shade under it. I spread a cloak I had with me for Allah's apostle, and then the Prophet laid on it. I went out to guard him, and all of a sudden I saw a shepherd coming with his sheep looking for the shade of the rock as we did. I asked him, 'O boy, to whom do you belong?' He replied, 'I belong to so and so.' I asked him, 'Is there some milk in your sheep?' He replied in the affirmative. I asked him, 'Will you milk?' He replied in the affirmative. Then he got hold of one of his sheep. I said to him, 'Remove the dust from its udder.' Then he milked a little milk. I had a water skin with me which was tied with a piece of cloth. I had prepared the water skin for Allah's apostle. So I poured some water over the milk container, till its bottom became cold. Then I brought the milk to the Prophet and said, 'Drink, O Allah's apostle.' Allah's apostle drank till I became pleased. Then we departed and the pursuers were following us." Al-Bara added, "I then went with Abu Bakr into his home, carrying that saddle, and there I saw his daughter Aisha lying in a bed because of heavy fever, and I saw her father Abu Bakr kissing her cheek and saying, 'How are you, little daughter?'" Volume 5, Book 58, number 257. Narrated by Anas. The servant of the Prophet, when the Prophet arrived at Medina, there was not a single companion of the Prophet who had grey and black hair except Abu Bakr, and he dyed his hair with henna and katam, i.e. plants used for dyeing hair. Through another group of narrators, Anas bin Malik said, "When the Prophet arrived at Medina, The eldest amongst his companions was Abu Bakr. He dyed his hair with henna and khatam till it became of dark red color. Volume 5, Book 58, number 258. Narrated by Aisha. Abu Bakr married a woman from the tribe of Bani Kalb, called Bakr. When Abu Bakr migrated to Medina, he divorced her and she was married by her cousin, the poet who said the following poem lamenting the infidels of Quraysh. What is there kept in the well of Badr, the owners of the trays of roasted camel humps? What is there kept in the well of Badr, the owners of lady singers and friends of the honorable companions, who used to drink wine together? Bakr greets us with the greeting of peace. But can I find peace after my people have gone? The apostle tells us that we shall live again. But what sort of life will owls and skulls live? Volume 5, Book 58, number 259. Narrated by Abu Bakr. I was with the Prophet in the cave. When I raised my head, I saw the feet of the people. I said, O Allah's Apostle, if some of them should look down, they will see us. The Prophet said, O Abu Bakr, be quiet. For we are two and Allah is the third of us. Volume 5, Book 58, number 260. Narrated by Abu Sa'id. Once a Bedouin came to the Prophet and asked him about the migration. The Prophet said, Mercy of Allah be on you. The migration is a quite difficult matter. Have you got some camels? He replied in the affirmative. Then the Prophet said, Do you give their zakat? He replied in the affirmative. The Prophet said, Do you let others benefit by their milk gratis? He replied in the affirmative. Then the Prophet asked, Do you milk them on their watering days and give their milk to the poor and needy? He replied in the affirmative. The Prophet said, Go on doing like this from beyond the seas, and there is no doubt that Allah will not overlook any of your good deeds. Volume 5, Book 58, number 261. Narrated by Al-Bara. The first people who came to us, in Medina, were Mus'ab bin Umar and Ibn Maktum. Then came to us, Ammar bin Yazir and Bilal. Volume 5, Book 58, number 262. Narrated by Al-Bara bin Azib. The first people who came to us, in Medina, were Mus'ab bin Umar and Ibn Maktum who were teaching Quran to the people. Then there came Bilal, Sa'd and Ammar bin Yazir. After that, Umar bin al-Khattab came along with 20 other companions of the Prophet. Later on the Prophet himself, to Medina, and I had never seen the people of Medina so joyful as they were on the arrival of Allah's Apostle, for even the slave girls were saying, Allah's Apostle has arrived. And before his arrival I had read the surah starting with, Glorify the name of your Lord, the Most High, 87.1, together with other surahs of Al-Mufassal.